All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Vasyl Lomachenko showing some poor sportsmanship. He's saying that he was robbed, while Teofimo Lopez said, nah, man, you not robbed. You were just real basic and overrated. Let's talk about what Lomachenko has to say about his loss to Teofimo Lopez and the response from Teofimo Lopez. Plus, we will also talk about a few other things related to the great sport of boxing. Let's do that in this video. All right, Vasyl Lomachenko will no doubt go down in history as the greatest fighter ever with the record of 14-2. Vasyl Lomachenko, let me repeat this. His record is 14-2. After all of that yappity yap that we've been hearing for years about Vasyl Lomachenko being the greatest fighter ever, he's on another level of skill that has never been seen before in mankind, in the history of mankind. He's better than Sugar Ray Leonard. He's better than Muhammad Ali. He's better than Mayweather. He's better than Pacquiao. He's better than Duran. He's better than Sugar Ray Leonard and Hagler and Monzon and Sanchez and all of those people, right? Name them. Just keep naming them. He was better than all of them. All of these guys. You know, these guys that have, some of these guys have 60 fights, 50, 60 fights. Some of the guys that I've mentioned have over 100 fights. In and out of the ring for years and years and years, fighting 4, 5, 6 times a year, right? Against guys they didn't even know. Some of these guys didn't know the guys, had never seen tape on the guys that they were fighting, had to figure it out in the ring. All of those things that they had to do, right? Getting cheated, all that. But Vasyl Lomachenko passed up everything that they ever did, everything that Roberto Duran ever did in his career, from lightweight all the way up to, what was his last title? Middleweight, right? From 135 all the way up to 160 or 168, whatever it was he won. All of those things Vasyl Lomachenko passed up in 16 fights. But now what are we looking at with this loss of Vasyl Lomachenko? I mean, the Vasyl Lomachenko loss to Teofimo Lopez. What we're looking at now is a guy that had 2 Olympic gold medals, never beat anybody. If he does not come back and beat Teofimo Lopez, never beat anybody in his own weight class of name. Let me repeat that. Oh, excuse me. He beat one guy in his own weight class of name, Gary Russell Jr. And he lost to a 41-12 Orlando Salido and Teofimo Lopez, a guy that is nowhere near his prime and could very well be categorized as a prospect. If you had cut the 140-pound division out and the 130-pound division out and made those fighters fight in the traditional weight classes, let me assure you, Teofimo Lopez would not be holding a belt right now. Teofimo Lopez is a very, very good fighter. He is an outstanding young talent, but there's nothing that I saw in that ring with Vasyl Lomachenko, or I've seen yet, that would separate him from anybody else in boxing, from the top level fighters in boxing right now. Okay? There's nothing that I saw out of Teofimo Lopez that said that he is a more skilled, more dangerous fighter than Terrence Crawford is, than Errol Spence Jr. is, than Jaron Ennis is, than Canelo Alvarez is, than Jermell Charlo is. Nothing that I saw in that performance tells me that Teofimo Lopez at this stage in his career is on the level of those other fighters. I don't believe that he is. In fact, there is a very good chance that Teofimo Lopez could lose to the guy that Vasyl Lomachenko ducked to when he got that WBC franchise championship, and that's Devin Haney. So what are we left with Vasyl Lomachenko? We're left with the guy that was a hype job, an extremely talented fighter, extremely skilled fighter who was sold as being much more than he actually is. Now, is he a lot? Yes. But when you say you're greater than all of these fighters since the young Ali, you're saying too much, and that is what we saw And now Vasyl Lomachenko is being a poor sport. He walks off the stage. Now, I am going to, if it sounds like I'm being a little bit like there's sour grapes, there is here. I have sour grapes because I cannot miss the treatment of Vasyl Lomachenko when I'm looking at the treatment of Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder has not said a word since he lost. When he lost to Tyson Fury, the only thing that he said is, hey, he was the better man tonight. He actually spoke and said something after the fight, and then he went on about his business. Vasyl Lomachenko walked out of the ring mad, saying that he lost the fight. Now, let's look at whether or not he actually lost the fight or not. Yeah, dog, you lost the fight. You walked up out of there. You walked up out of there without no belts. You lost the fight. But even in the fight, Vasyl Lomachenko didn't do anything for 6 rounds. And it didn't. And I'm telling you, I gave him maybe the second round, and I had the fight maybe a round apart. Like, I had the fight close. But I'm going to be very honest with you about why I thought I had the fight close. Because I was thinking to myself, I can't keep giving Teofimo Lopez all of these rounds that I think he's winning, because there's a chance I just might be missing some punches because, you know, this is Vasyl Lomachenko. And I fell into watching the fight, not watching the fight, but I fell into watching Vasyl Lomachenko. And as a result, I gave him more rounds in the second half of the fight. But truth be told, in the second half of the fight, there was probably only 3 rounds of the last 6 rounds that I think Vasyl Lomachenko just outright won. The fact of the matter is, Vasyl Lomachenko just went. He went way too late. It seemed to me as if he thought that Teofimo Lopez was going to get anxious and start making mistakes and start winging punches at him and being defensively irresponsible. And Teofimo Lopez didn't do that. And he didn't do it for several rounds. He didn't do it to the 6th round, and he kept coming to him. He kept sticking the jab out there, just a jab, a regular jab, a jab. He took the jab to the top, jab to the body, and just kept, when Vasyl Lomachenko was trying to figure out where he's going to jump to the side, Teofimo Lopez just kept the jab there and kept scoring and winning rounds. So you wound up down 6-0 because you're trying to take this young man into deep water while this young man is trying to collect points and take your belt. And then my hat goes off to Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez, in those middle rounds, Teofimo Lopez did not press. When Vasyl Lomachenko started going at him and starting to press him, Teofimo Lopez took some shots. He took some shots well, then pushed his head back, but he stayed calm. He stayed relaxed, and then coasted a little bit through 8, maybe 9, 9, and 10. And then the second half of 11, he stepped up on the gas in the second half of 11. And in round 12, he stepped all the way up and almost got Vasyl Lomachenko out of there. And it seemed to me as if that ref saved it. I don't think he saved him, because I don't think Vasyl Lomachenko was going to get knocked out. And for real, credit to Vasyl Lomachenko for being able to for having the chin he has, because he got hit with some nice stuff. But Teofimo Lopez was he fought the smarter fight. He was the bigger, stronger man. And the skill gap between the two was not big. Now, I do believe that there was a skill gap, because in the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th round, the 9th, 10th, and the 11th round, the first half of the 11th round, Vasyl Lomachenko was landing shots, was landing clean shots, sending his head back, landing body shots, swelling Teofimo's eyes. But Teofimo made an adjustment for it. He made an adjustment. He backed off. He conceded the front foot, let Vasyl Lomachenko press towards him, and he let Vasyl Lomachenko run some gas out of his tank. And then when round 12 came, Vasyl Lomachenko knew full well he did not have enough left in his tank to go get Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez had waited, had reserved his energy, and stepped on it, and you lost fair and square. Now, for Teofimo Lopez to call Vasyl Lomachenko basic, there you go. You're right. He was basic. And by basic, I mean this. He basically did what he does every fight. And the book has been out on Vasyl Lomachenko, and I've said this for a while. The book has been out on Vasyl Lomachenko, in my opinion, since the Miguel Mariaga fight. That was the first fight where I saw somebody was like, oh no, that's the Matrix left. The Matrix left the building with Miguel Mariaga, because Miguel Mariaga was the first person just to pivot with him. When he was looking for opportunities to switch and pivot quick, whoop, Miguel Mariaga just was waiting for the moment. He said, okay, he's going to throw a couple punches. He's going to try to get over here. So he throws the punches, jump over here. And he neutralized it. That made Vasyl Lomachenko start doing all kind of stuff out of character, waving him into the corner, because guess what? Vasyl Lomachenko does not have particularly fast feet. And Vasyl Lomachenko doesn't have the ability really to outbox you and stay away. He wants to fight in the mid-range. Dude, that is a limited fighter. And you saw him do the same thing he had been doing that has been making him very successful for a lot of years. But when you had a young, big, strong kid that saw that and knew what to expect, he was able to beat him. And guess what's going to happen if they fight again? It's going to get worse. And Teofimo Lopez, more than likely, is going to put him up out of there, because Teofimo Lopez can't miss Vasyl Lomachenko with an uppercut. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.